stories behind the scenes of the fire department and people that work in the fire department. And my name's Bob, and the guy way over there is Doug. And today we've got a special guest. His name is Brian. And Brian's going to come in today and tell us a few of his stories, because you guys are getting bored with ours. So, Brian, what do you got to tell us?
Well, I thought I'd start with a couple of stories about how I first met these guys. I mean, when I first started on the fire department, they were senior firefighters. Doug was the senior driver, Bob was the senior firefighter, and you were an acting captain at that point as well, I think. And my first posting was at number 7 fire hall, and I was learning how to drive and operate the aerial truck. So this was probably a year in or so. Mm-hmm. And you were riding the aerial truck. And it wasn't, we had a spare. So the aerial was out getting serviced, and we had the snorkel, which was basically like a battering ram with a hose on the end of it.
And it had a bench seat too. So, you know, the driver, and then I sat there, and the captain sat at the window, of course, to get the brief. So.
That's right. The Badger.
The Badger
was the captain. Yeah. And, well, anyway, we get an alarm, and I'm new, so I'm nervous. And back then there was no printout. You didn't get to read the alarm. You had to listen really carefully, and it was echoey. Well, all of us were at the map, and none of us could understand what street they were telling us to go to. Yeah,
go to.
Yeah, exactly. So somebody went to the captain's office to call. That's what you would do. They would call the communications center and ask them directly. Meanwhile, I can hear other vehicles booking on the air. Everybody's going, it's coming in as a working fire, and I am getting even more and more anxious. My anxiety level is starting to skyrocket.
First of all, you don't know where it is, and secondly, you want to get there, right? Yeah, and we're not even moving yet. And
so whoever it was that went to get the address came running out, and away we go. I hit the button for the door to go up, and back then there was no light saying, yes, the door is open, green light. It was just, you had to look, which after this call, I looked every single time, even with the green light. I didn't trust that green light. But anyway, I hammered down and went out before the door was all the way up, and I tagged the door. And Bob beside me and the Badger beside him, don't worry about it. You barely hit it. Let's go. This is a working fire. We're already late. Get going. So I'm anxious the entire way there. And
meanwhile, there was another fire truck in the station, and I don't know what would happen with these doors is sometimes they get hit and they go up, and then you'd hit the button and they just go
down,
and they crash right down on you. Right, so this guy is walking on tenterhooks all the way around.
I could see them in the rear view. They were jumping out of the way.
Yeah. Whoa.
So everything winds down, and we're headed back, and the whole way back to the station, Bob's reassuring me. He's a good senior firefighter. He's like, don't worry about a thing. You barely touched it. Nobody's going to care. Whatever the problem is, we'll fix it. And as we pull up, I see that the platoon chief and the district chief are parked in the apparatus on the ramp. And you're still reassured. Don't worry about it. I back the truck onto the ramp, and no sooner do I put the parking brake on and Bob jumps out. It was Aces! I told him not to go, and he did anyway. It did turn out to be nothing. It was just the weather stripping, and they were there because the mechanic was fixing it. But
and we saw it going out, so I knew it was nothing. It was just a little bit, but I wanted to impress upon you that you got to get out of a tunnel vision.
That's
which
true.
You guys do, right?
Yeah, that's all you see is the 6 feet in front of the truck.
Yeah.
So should I tell another story?
Yeah.
Okay, so a little while after that, I was working in the West End, because when you're new, they move you around to fill in for people that are sick and whatnot. I hadn't yet gotten downtown where these guys actually were stationed that for most of their time. But the call came in one day because the officers were playing cards and they needed a fourth. And something was going on where you guys were all training.
Isn't that awful?
And they needed a fourth to play cards. Sure. And we had an extra guy at 6s. And so they called and they said, one of those guys play cards. And I did. And that was my in. So I got sent down there so I could play euchre or whatever it was.
With the chief and the
Wild-
two senior
yeah, wild
captains.
rummy.
thing was the platoon chief was the one that plays cards.
Yeah.
So
He
it
used
doesn't
to like
matter
his
where
card game.
you are, you're coming in.
And there was one guy there that for whatever reason they didn't let him play, and he was available. And this was part of a running joke for them. Was, you know what? We're going to call another fire hall before we let you play
I'll play.
cards with us.
He says, well, yeah, I think that's 6 company. Brian's there.
So I get downtown, and it's really awesome. These guys were, I mean, back then, if you wanted to do one of the special teams, you weren't on a special team. You just worked downtown. And you did all the special teams there. Hazmat, rope rescue, confined space, water rescue. You were expected to know all that stuff if you worked down there. And so it was a really good experience for me. And we didn't do team meals every day like they do now on the 24-hour shift. This was the old shift. And
Well, we got technical difficulties here. Somebody get that dog parked. Okay. Okay.
See you guys later.
so every day that we did have a meal, Doug, who was the main cook and bottle washer, he was the kitchen sled. Every day he'd get up there, make the coffee, and he was the last guy to leave in the morning, make sure the kitchen was clean. He'd go and do the message on the PA.
Yep.
But every once in a while, they'd allow a guest to do the message. And so I had one ready just in case.
They allowed you at
Just
one
in
point
case.
in
And
time.
sure enough, one day Doug came to me, and it was about 4:00 in the afternoon. He said, would you like to do the message? And we're having sausages and French fries and salad, $5.
Yep.
Make sure everybody knows. And I was like, oh yeah, this is good. So I went into the captain's office where the PA was, and at the time there was the captain's office and the chief's office, and there was a window between them that they could use to pass paperwork back and forth and that sort of thing. And it was that time of day where the platoon chief was calling the other shift to let them know what the changes were. If people had booked off sick, you had to move people around. So he's on the phone, and I pick up the PA. And at the time, there was a commercial for a local hamburger joint where the guy had a big Texas hat, and he had bullhorns on his Cadillac, and he was a big this and a big that, and that's the way he talked. So I'm doing this routine.
Yeah.
We're having a big meal. We're gonna have 2 big sausages and big buns, and you're gonna have a big bowl of salad. Don't forget the big French fries. We're having this guy, the platoon chief. I guess we're not mentioning any names.
No.
Fair warning, there's some colorful language coming up. He used the word fuck in every form possible, and if possible, all in one sentence.
Philadelphia.
Every other word, if not every word.
Yeah.
So I hear, shut the fuck up. He talked like that, right? And a big this and a big that. And, shut the fuck up, Aces. And that caught my attention, and I look over, and he's on the phone, and one of the guys is standing in front of him with some papers that he was waiting to talk to him about, and I was almost done. So I just felt like I had to keep going.
You have to finish it.
I had to finish my story.
You're on a roll.
So I finished on, and we're going to have a big lunch, so don't forget your big wallet. And he slams the phone down. The only big fucking thing around here is the big fucking bag that you're packing. Now get the fuck out of my office, because you're never setting foot in this fucking fire hall again. And I left there with my tail between my legs. Of course, all the guys they're in stitches. They think this is hilarious. Well, sure enough, he moved me out the next day. And I think the other platoon chiefs would move me there on purpose just so that he could move me back out once a month or something like that. And I'd walk in, and my bag wouldn't even hit the ground. Right? You're going to fucking 7s. Get the fuck out of here.
That's good.
Well, listen, thank you, Brian, for coming in today and telling us a couple of great stories, especially the one
my
about
pleasure.
me. About me, that was one of the better ones we've heard.
It was him. I told him not to go.
And thank you all for tuning in. And if you liked it, please press the like button. And if you'd like us coming to your mailbox every Friday, please press the follow button. And we post every Friday, and you'll be the first to know. Thank you.